Welcome, welcome to the Get Fit With Me, expanding your physical and mental fitness group. It looks like we are live on Facebook and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So this group is for individuals who are ready to expand both their physical and mental fitness and who are looking to support others and to get support from others all along the way. Health and wellness is a lifetime journey. It's not something you do for just a month or a few years. It is something that we want to include and incorporate little steps each and every day to create a long, sustainable, and healthy life. That is what I'm about. That's what this group is about. And if you're looking for support, this is the group for you. So we're unique for a few different reasons. Number one is every other week we do a movement workshop, such as today. We're going to be using a resistance band today to build some strength in our back to help with some posture. These movement workshops are usually 15, closer to like 20 to 35 minutes, and you get to move around and learn something. Another reason we are unique is because there's that little Zoom link up above. If you click that link, you will be in Zoom with me. You will then be on Facebook. So if that's something you're uncomfortable with, I still challenge you to click it and just be black on your screen. Don't have to show your face, but join us. The perk to that is when we do a movement workshop or we're working through a skill that I'm teaching you on other weeks, and you have specific questions along the way, you can ask them. And if it's just you and I on here, which I've been able to showcase a few times, is I get to coach you through it. I get to watch how your body moves and you get my full on attention. So as we do these movement workshops, I love to have people on so that if you have something, your body's not moving the right way, I can help correct it so that it feels right and so that you are doing it properly. Those are the two reasons we are unique. There are a few other reasons, but I will stick with the two for today. So we have two new members in the group this week. We have Dominique and we have Kristen. I'm super excited to have both you guys here today. Just like I said, if you know others who are looking for support or who like to support people in their health and wellness, invite them into the group. Let's grow this group. This week, I am starting to talk about an awesome program. So last year, I ran a Commit to Your Health challenge. It was a free 4-week challenge. I believe I had like 46 people signed up and I was amazed. Well, this year, I wanted to still keep the same concept of committing to your health and yourself this holiday season. So I completely revamped the program and I decided to call it a program instead of a challenge. It is a program that talks about creating small steps each and every day or every week as we work through to help get you closer to your goal and to get you thinking about yourself and your health in, I'd say, the craziest time of the year. I know there's often times between the Thanksgiving and Christmas that my health is not first priority because it's rushing till the end of the year. We have so many things to do, but I can definitely tell that I'm draining myself, that I don't feel my best. So this program is all about getting you to feel your best and invest in your health and yourself during this holiday season. So if this is something that sounds kind of interesting to you, there are limited spots available. And if you just want to learn more, just drop yes in the comments. We are getting close to filling up. So but I may open more seats up. We'll see how it kind of goes and how many of you guys are interested. But if it is something you are interested, drop yes in the comments. I'll reach out to you and I'll share more of like the deep diving details. So today we are talking about strengthening your back one band at a time. The reason I've called it strengthen your back one band at a time is because often you guys don't have as many bands as I do. But I have found that so many of my clients and people I've come into contact with have just one band. It's usually a band that they've gotten for physical therapy. There's no handles, no nothing. It's their band. They pull it right off, a big loop, and you get to take it home with you. So if that is something you have, go and grab it. You will need it today because we are moving. We are going to practice. I'm going to teach you the moves. You're going to practice them, and then you're going to apply them. And I'm going to teach you how to put them into your week, your day, your month, however you like to plan your exercise and strengthening. If you have a band that is like this, So I have this one right here. You can add nice handles to it. Grab that, and you will also need either a door, a railing, something to loop that band around that you can pull on without it tipping over. My railing's a nice one. It sits at a really nice height. I do have an attachment that you can open the door, shut it, and it can stay in there. This is also another kind of band. This one you may have, this is called a pull-up band. They're usually used to assist in pull-ups. I have this. I will not be using this one today, but I wanted to let you know that if this is the only kind you have, you can still use it. As long as it is long and is not a small mini band, you have the materials for 2 days training. So today we are talking about how to strengthen our back and why is it important to strengthen our back. So often we look at our phones, we type at the computer, and we have so much forward roll in our shoulders. Well, if we are not strengthening our back, it just makes it easier for our chest to pull those shoulders forward, for us to get some neck pain, which then turns into some lower back pain. That if we are not working on opening our chest up and strengthening that upper back, we are going to have some tightness, some knots, some strains, and even just poor posture over time. I am fortunate enough to have a setup where I can get my desk up high enough so my camera is above my screen and I'm in a good position. Not everybody is like that. So if we spend so much time in an improper setup throughout our day, especially if that's what we do for a living, is be in front of a computer, we have a tendency to let our body conform to the improper positions. So today I'm going to teach you how to strengthen that so that just 4 exercises, if you do them daily, you will start to feel stronger across the upper back. You will start to feel your posture get better. You will start to feel a little bit of a stretch through here, which will be good because we're so used to being in here that we'll start to get a stretch to that chest. And lastly, you will start to just, depending on how often you do this more, if you do this every single day, you will start to see some definition in those muscles. Because we're going to be doing anywhere from 10 to 15 reps, and your band may be really intense. If your band's intense and you're doing 15 reps, you're probably going to start to see some muscle definition before somebody who has before your lighter band with 15 reps. So let's get into our 4 movements today. As always with these, I like to show them to you, explain what muscles are being used, we practice them together. And if you are watching live right now, hashtag live for me to let me know. If you're watching the replay, remember hashtag a replay and let me know. And as we are working through these, drop in the comments and let me know, okay, this doesn't feel right, I can't get my arms open that much, or just drop help if you would like some extra attention outside of this. I'm more than happy to jump on a quick call with you. Hi, Cherry, happy to see you are here live with us. That I can help you if something doesn't feel right, or if you have an injury that's not allowing you to do so. You know your limits. I'm teaching based on the general, but if you have specific questions for you and your body, please drop them below or drop help, and we can jump on a call and go over that. So first one we have is going to be range of motion. I love to start with this one because it helps open those shoulders up, keep our core nice and tight. That is okay that you don't have a band. So for some of these, you can use a broomstick, a scarf, anything that you can kind of pull down. You would like some elasticity eventually. We can do some of these with dumbbells. So Cherry, if you have a set of dumbbells, let me know, and I can also do a few dumbbell exercises for you that mimic these as well. So first one we have is a range of motion. You can use a band, you can use a scarf, you can use a broomstick. Our feet are going to be shoulder width apart, knees at a slight bend. You never want to lock them out when you're exercising or stretching. I will have my hips tucked, and my palms are facing the back of my wall. I'm going to pull my shoulders back and down, and then I'm going to reach my arms up and open that chest, pulling a little bit of tension on that band. So with time, we could probably pull that band all the way open. That's not what I want today. I want our hips to stay tucked, our core to stay tight, and I want us to only move back as far as we can without arching that back and extending. So we're gonna open and then slowly come down. We're gonna do 15 of these. So before I get counting, I want you guys to take a minute, get yourself set up. Perfect, Cherry. Your scarf will work perfect for this. So feet shoulder width apart, hips tucked, core is nice and tight, hands are a little bit wider than your body, and we're going to keep that core tight as we lift our hands up. Keep that core nice and tight, don't arch that back, and then slowly come down. Okay, we're gonna do 14 more of these. Good. 2. 3. If our range of motion only comes to here, that's okay. 4. 5. Good. We have 10 more. 6. 7. Keep that head nice and level. No looking up, no looking down. 8. 9. 10. Last 5. I know I'm starting to feel a little bit of fatigue in my arms. 11 in my back. 12 in my shoulders. But we're almost there. We have 3 left. 13. 14. Last one. 15. Good. Shake those arms out. Put that band down for a second. So you may have found that your range of motion could have been here, but if you took your hands out wider, you probably were able to get your arms up a little higher. Play around with where your hand placement is and how high you can lift and how far back you can go. I have found that right here gets me to, if I'm right outside of my hips, is a pretty good angle for my shoulders to feel good and for my range of motion to just move very fluidly. If my hands are in front, it's pinched a little bit. I don't have as great a range of motion. Work on all different angles, because if we do just one thing in one direction, we only get good in that one direction. We only get a greater range of motion in that one direction. We only get stronger in that one way. So play around with your hands being close, your hands being out, or even your hands being really far out. Play around with that distance. This right here, you probably felt a little fatigue, but it was all about just opening up and getting that back ready. So soften your knees halfway through. Yes, that is something that a lot of times we start nice and soft, and then we lock out midway through and we really squeeze our butt. We want to keep nice and loose, hips tucked, core tight. So next one we're going to go into is going to be a lat pull down. Cherry, you can do this with your scarf. It's just going to feel a little different. But you can still perform the movement, and you can also do this with just your hands. So you're going to take your band. The closer your hands get together on that band, the more challenging it's going to be. I like to wrap it so it doesn't flop all over. And then I will usually start shoulders back and down, hands are straight up. As you can see, I'm not arching my back. From here, I'm going to pull this band down to my collarbone. I'm going to pull my elbows out and down, kind of making a W. And then I'm going to come back up, down, and up. So when we are doing these, I'm thinking about moving my shoulder blades. So those big shoulder blades in the back here is what we are using. As we come up, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and back up again. Hey, Elena, I see you on there. So let's grab that band. Practice with your hands first. I love having us practice with our hands before we bring that band into play. Get that band wrapped around and hips tucked, core tight, shoulders back and down, and let's pull that band down to that clavicle and back up. 1, 2, 3. We're doing 15 of these again. 4, 5, slight bend. 6, 7, 8, good. 9, I'm gonna turn. 10, 5 more. I can feel my arms and my back getting tired. Good, that's 11. 12, 13, 14, last one. 15. Good. So for those of you using the band watching live, Elena, I know you have bands. So let me know, how did that feel? Was it easy? Was it hard? Could you feel your back starting to engage and get stronger? Or were you kind of feeling it more in the arms? Cherry, for you who did not have your band, where were you feeling it? Could you really feel it in that back? Or were you feeling it more in like your shoulders and your arms as well? Drop in the comments and let me know. A lot of times when we feel it in our biceps, so right here or in the back of our arm or tricep, it's because we are not used to activating those back muscles correctly. The more you do it, the better it's going to feel and the easier it will be to engage those back muscles. I like to think as I do this, I'm trying to squeeze a pencil right here in between my shoulder blades, and I don't want it to fall. We got some comments. Back between shoulder blades, perfect. Shoulder blades, cheer, awesome, you guys. I'm happy you are feeling in the right position. So we had our range of motion, and then we had our lat pull down. And then exercise number 3, we're going to have a pull apart. So you're going to need that same exact band that you have. Same thing as I did before. I wrap it. I don't like when it flops around. If you do, go ahead, let it flop around. I can't do that. So palms up. This is the most important. You can go palms down, but we spend so much of our day with our palms down doing things. So if we are able to, I want us to pull our palms up, pull our shoulders back and down, and just kind of relax that neck for a second. Here, I find people, we lose our neck. As we go through this exercise, I see this happen. And yes, it is a funny look when you look at the camera or you look in the mirror. But I want you guys to think about, we want to show our neck as we are doing this exercise. As we're really doing all exercises, we never want to get up here. But this is the most common. So hands are out in front of us. I have a slight bend, so I'm not here, but I'm not extended, just that slight bend. Palms are up, and I'm going to pull this band apart all the way out to a straight line in my body. So I'm here, keeping that slight bend, and then I'm slowly retracting back, opening up so that the band touches my chest, and back. If we are not using our band, same thing, open and squeeze, and release. So we have 15 of these. Same thing as I said before, hips tucked, slight bend in our knees, feet about shoulder width apart. And the closer we get our hands together, the more challenging it's going to be. Elena just learned that this week. If my hands are really close, it's going to be more challenging than when our palms are out wider. So get yourself in a good position, hips tucked, core tight, and let's open and release. 1, 2, 3. And think about the control as you come back to starting. 4. We don't want that band to just snap back. 5. Part of that is so that you can have the control. 6, 7. So you are controlling the band and the band is not controlling you. 8. Good. 9. If you feel your hands starting to shift up, bring them closer to your belly button. 10. 11, let me see that neck, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. Shake out those arms, shake out that back, wiggle it all about. So, you guys on Facebook right now, let me know, where did you feel that? Did you feel it a little in your chest on that control back? Did you feel it in lower, higher? Did you feel it in the neck maybe? People feel this one in the neck because we have not learned how to, we've not created a muscle memory with using those back muscles to open up. So what happens is we get going here, we probably get 5 or 6 in, and all of a sudden our back gets tired and our traps and our neck start to take over and have to work for that back. If you had felt at some point you were starting to feel more in your neck and less in your back, think about what that number was. That is the number I want you working towards. Yes, today we are doing 15 of everything, but if you are feeling 8 is where your body feels good, and all of a sudden at 9, 10, 11, you start to feel it in areas that I have not mentioned, stop back at that rep number 8. That is perfectly fine for right where you are. Because once you get 8 and you start feeling good, then you can get up to 9 and you'll start feeling good. These are new exercises. Start without the band, get used to the movement, engaging the muscles, then add the band and slowly work your way up to reps. Lift my head, good. I'm glad you liked that cue. It's definitely something we have a tendency to look down when we exercise. And that's not keeping a straight line from your head to your spine. You want to keep a nice straight line. Good. So exercise number 4. This is where if you have your banister, you are going to need it. You're going to take your band. I have handles on this one. We are going to do a row. If you do not have a banister, I'm going to show you 2 other ways to do this movement. Way number 1 is going to be the way I'm going to show you and I'm going to do it. And the other 2 will be 2 additional options based on if you have equipment or not, and if you have a banister or something to tie it to. So you're going to take your band. I have handles on mine. You don't need handles. And you are going to wrap it around. Ideally, you want it at your waist height. You don't want it up too high and you don't want it down here. I'm going to pull my shoulders back and down. This is where I tell people, as long as it's not a floppy band, you're doing it right. You don't need to walk all the way across the room, because the further you walk away from your access point with the band, the more challenging it's going to be. You can make the band more difficult by hanging on to just one side with one arm or doubling up on your bands. There are different ways to increase the intensity. But for today, I'm going to take my band, walk back so I have some tension. I'm going to pull my shoulders back and down, and my hands are going to be just like this. They're going to be straight ahead. My hands are tipped up as if I have glasses of water, or I used this cue earlier. You have your glass of wine in your hand. Do not let that wine spill out. So shoulders back and down. I'm at 90 degrees right now. I'm going to extend them so I have that slight bend, just like we practiced with that palms up. We want that slight bend. I'm now going to use those back muscles and pull my elbows back, squeezing. I'm not pulling up. If we pull up, we're no longer in a row. Want to pull straight and release back to that slight bend. Through here, we are working that back. This is just a standard row. You've probably done these if you are someone who exercises often. You've probably done a bent over row with dumbbells. That is the most common. You might have done a cable row. This is just a banded row, just another way. So banded row number 1. Banded row number 2, you're going to go back, you're going to take a step on. Depending on if your band is really tight or it's really long, you can choose. I usually step on the band with both my feet, hip width apart. I'm gonna push my hips back. I'm gonna add some bend to my knees and see how I have a straight line from my head to my tailbone. I now have a slight bend in my elbows, and I'm gonna pull my elbows up to the sky or up to the ceiling and slowly release. Pull up and release. You are going to need to have that core activated. If you do not have a band, you can stay right here, get yourself used to this position, and just use your hands. Or you can stand up and just practice that standing. So hands go out to a slight bend, pull those shoulder blades back, out and back. Practicing that movement without that band is an important step. So always know how to do the motion, see if it feels comfortable, then you can add the weight or the resistance or whatever you are choosing to. So I'm going to go back to our first banded row. We have 15 reps. Shoulders back and down, hips tucked, slight bend in those knees, and we're gonna pull and release, 1. And we want to control that band, 2, just like all of our other movements, 3. Do not let the band control you, 4. Bring that head up, because I know we are looking at the ground, 5. Relax those knees, 6. Squeeze that pencil, 7, good. 8, remember to breathe. That's also an important step. 9, 10, 11, 12, almost there. 13, 14, 15. Good. So that is just the standard banded row. Remember, we can also do that by bending over, nice straight line from your head to your tailbone, putting that band underneath, row and release. So for those of you who are still alive with me, how did that banded row feel, or how did that movement feel with just that body weight? Could you feel that back being used? Especially if we have no weight, it's a lot easier to isolate those back muscles than it is when you have the weight, or the resistance, I should say. Let me know in the comments how that is going, and if we have any questions before we move on to how to use the things I just showed you today. If we have no questions, or if you come up with questions later on, drop them in the comments. I will still get back to you. I go and I respond to all of these comments, and not just after the video, but even months down the road. I have people commenting on things from February that I'm still responding to because somebody had gone back and watched the video. So if you like any of the videos or the trainings from before, go back and watch them, comment on them, interact with them. Good. You felt it in between the shoulder blades. Good burn. Awesome, Elena. Happy to have you here and that you're feeling it in the right area. So when should I do this? How long should I do this? What to do if it doesn't feel right? Can I overdo it? All those questions that are probably coming to your brain right now thinking, okay, great. What am I supposed to do with this thing I just learned? So how often should you do it? If you are someone who exercises regularly, you can do it every day, every other day. If you are someone who is newer to exercise or who hasn't really taken any steps to use resistance bands or use any weights, I suggest you start off with body weight every day or every other day. Or maybe one time a week. You choose what is easiest for you. I want you to pick the smallest thing that you can do and accomplish it. Then pick it again, accomplish it. And once you feel like you are good, like you are starting to create a habit out of it, and the muscles in your body and your joints are all feeling good, then you can increase your number of days. So if you've never done any sort of strength training or resistance training before, you can do it every day, every other day. You choose a time, you choose the amount, but I want you doing it with body weight. You don't even need bands yet. We practice our rows, our pull downs, our range of motion, no equipment. If you are someone who does resistance training or strength training, frequently, or you've done it in the past and you know what you're doing and you're more comfortable with it, grab that band. Get practicing every day, every other day. I don't suggest doing it multiple times a day. You can do little parts multiple times a day, but if you're going to do a circuit like I'm going to tell you about, just do it once a day. That is plenty. So how many reps should you do? Reps are the number of times you are performing the movement. Like I said before, if you found during this training here that you got to 8 and you started to feel other muscles start to compensate, or pain in areas that I didn't talk about, go back to that number right before you started to feel that. That is your threshold. Today we did 15. I like to tell people who are new to this, go anywhere from 5 to 8. If you are someone who is more advanced and who does this more often, go anywhere from 10 to 15. Remember, your band has a big role to play. If you have a really thick band, you're going to have to do less reps. If you have a really thin band, you may have to do more than 15. But anywhere from 5 to 8 for starters, and if you do it more frequently, anywhere between 10 and 15. How many times through should I do it? So that is how many sets. At least 3 times. I like the number 3. My logic behind it, there is science behind it, but my logic behind it is your first time, getting used to the movements. Second time, you're a little bit better. Third time, you are doing it perfectly. Because how often do we walk in, do something once, we do something in the morning for just once, and it is perfect that one time? It's not the case. It takes repetition. So 3 times through. You are going to do all 4 of these movements for either 8 to 5 reps or 10 to 12 reps, 3 times through, and you choose the number of days that is most comfortable for you in your schedule. I want you to be able to incorporate this in a way that does not cause stress in your life. This shouldn't cause stress on your schedule. This should allow you to feel better. I want you to choose a time or a place. So with all of our talking today, I'm looking at the time here, talking, demoing, it probably took us 15 to 17 minutes to go through those exercises. But I was teaching them. I was walking you through. Doing the circuit 3 times through should take you about 10 minutes. That's all. Think of a time when you can put 10 minutes into your day to help strengthen your back, get better posture, allow those joints and muscles to just feel good. I will forewarn you though, because this has happened, is people will not know their limits. So if you're someone who is usually, I'm gonna go 0 to 100, I challenge you to step back and go 0 to 50. Because if you are doing 15 reps and you have a really thick band for some reason, you could be sore the next day. And a lot of times when we have that soreness the next day, it leads us not to want to do something. When we do something, it makes the soreness better. So I just want you to prepare yourself that you may have a little muscle soreness. It's good to have that every once in a while, but I don't want you to be shocked by it. So what types of questions do we have? Drop them in the chat. I'm going to look real quick and see. Okay, we are looking good so far. I know there is a little bit of a delay, but so far we are looking good. Remember, if you have questions as they come up, let me know. I'm here to help. So in the comments, I want you guys to drop, what was your biggest insight? What did you learn from this that you're like, okay, that was really cool. I didn't know that. Or, that was a really good reminder that I'd forgotten about. And then I also in the chat want you to drop, what are you doing today? Or what are you committing to today to do between now and next Thursday? Is it pull your band out of the hiding spot in the back of the closet? Is it drink some water? Is it do the circuit 1 time between now and next week? What is one small thing that you can commit to between this Thursday, today, and next Thursday? So 2 more things. First thing is going to be, reminder, we do have live Zoom classes 3 times a week. October was kind of a crazy month. We had some days that were missed, but you guys had got recordings. Class on Monday, 12 to 12:30, which is a cardio intervals class. It is a 30-minute high intensity class where we're getting that heart rate up, getting our bodies sweating. The best part is though, you don't have to keep up with me. I time everything, so it is for all levels. Class number 2 is Wednesday from 12 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. That class rotates. This upcoming Wednesday is going to be Killer Core, so it's going to be a whole core class. If it's ever just me and one other person, I do allow like, hey, can we do this instead? So if you show up and you're the only one, sometimes you get to kind of choose the class we'd like. It is rotating, so we do resistance or mini band, we do Killer Core, we do strength, we do Tabata. We kind of switch it up on the Wednesdays. Thursday from 5:10 to 5:40, which is here in not too long, we do a strength training class. That is where we use weights to build strength, build muscles. We work on more slow and controlled rests and reps. So those are the 3 classes, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. 2 noon classes, 1 afternoon class or evening class. And then second is next week, we had a movement workshop this week. So next week is more around that mental fitness. I have 2 ideas that I'm thinking of. One is either more nutrition based, or the other one is more of kind of scheduling and creating a habit around something. If either of those are interesting to you, drop which one in the comments you think is more interesting. So that I have, like I said, I have 2 ideas for next week, but I want your guys' opinion. Or if there's something else that you're like, I want you to talk about this, drop it in the chat and let me know. I'm here to teach you guys on things you want to learn about. If you don't give me any input, I'm just going to keep teaching what I've been doing. And it may or may not fit with what you want to learn. So I want to hear from you. What do you want to learn? Oh, okay, so we got 1 feedback already. Nutrition was always good. Cherry said her insight is listen to your body. Don't worry about the exact numbers. I love that because you're right. If I get to 5 and I have to stop with something, I would rather have you stop at 5 and listen to your body than push yourself and injure yourself. I am all about proper form and proper technique. So listen to your body. Great insight there, Cherry. I learned that it's very possible to do daily. Elena, I love that. Just 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. We do a lot of other things, but probably scroll for 10 minutes. We probably do things that are not as useful for our bodies 10 minutes a day. Easily we can incorporate this. It's just making it that priority. So thank you guys so much for being here. Remember, next week, we'll either talk about nutrition or habits or anything else. Throw them in the chat. I'll start creating a list of things that you guys are interested in. I'll start teaching on those. I want the input from you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Maybe I'll see you at class here at 5:10. If not, I will see you guys next Thursday at 3 p.m. See you guys then.